I'm curious. I know the term "big break" is kind of a misnomer. There's usually many little breaks along the way. But what do you guys sort of consider? At what point did you sort of feel you'd made it as an actor?
I went first last time.
Well, there are several answers to that, I'm afraid. Um, there is an obvious moment for me, yet I kind of hesitate to really claim that moment for more or less auto-tactical reasons. I want to keep going for another 20 years or so. I don't want to be there yet, because if I would assume that I've made it, what would I do the next 20 years that I hope to be spending in that job? So.
You're applauding how adeptly he dodged the question.
I guess my first movie was a pretty big break. You know, I didn't expect to do movies until I got that, and I was originally cast as a day player. I was just supposed to do one scene in Casualties of War, and then some people got fired,
Yes.
which no doing of mine, but some people got fired, and the cast changed around, and all of a sudden I ended up with one of the leads of the movie, and yeah, so that was pretty big. But I feel the same way, actually. I've never been someone who wanted to be like the hot actor. You know, like I don't want to be hot or cold. I want to be warm and employed and just engaged in what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's a fickle town, and people can get sick of you really fast.
I heard a rumor. Was Casualties of War, when you went to make that movie, was that the first time you'd ever been on an airplane?
Yeah. It was the first time I'd ever been out of the Midwest, Chicago. I remember being on the plane. I was sitting in first class in this plane, and there's like this oil executive next to me, and I was like, looking at this menu. I was like, "Excuse me, sir, what is a prawn?" He's like, "Oh, it's kind of a shrimp. You'll like it." Well, that acting thing was a big thing, because he would call bullshit on things like that. Like, if you got up and were putting a prop down because you knew you had to pick up another prop in a second, he would be like, "Why are you putting that down? You don't know you're going to go pick that up. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what people would do." And you're like, "Yes, sir. You are correct. Duly noted." So that made him really different. And I haven't seen the play, but I would imagine it's a different experience sitting back and looking at these four people objectively, as opposed to having the fourth wall at your back and being in this room. Because you notice there's no perspective shots in that apartment. There's no pull back from the window to look in. You're in there with them, and so I think it adds a tension. But anyway, what do you think?
I think Roman works on a higher level. I mean, it sounds maybe a little general, but he does. He starts where most of them have left off a long time. His eye and his awareness and his sense of precision and dedication to his story that he wants to tell is really sharp like a razor blade, like a laser beam. And I don't know what's the next step after that. Particle accelerator. That's about how close it comes in.
It's interesting because you were shooting in one location and you said that Roman is very specific. So often when you make films, you see them and they're not at all what you expected. Was this what you expected it to be?
In a way, we were present at every single shot. And I don't think I've ever had that. To witness the genesis of a movie to that degree and into that detailed of an experience. So, after a while, you develop this sense you don't know. I used to play that early on in my career, that I asked the camera assistant, what lens he is, and then I told him what I thought my size in the picture would be. You know, so he said 35. So I said, well, it's about 5 meters, which is I don't. And then I would say, well, about like this. So just to get a sense. So after a while, you develop this feeling for, you know, you hear kind of what lens they put in, not precisely, but roughly. So you develop. In this case, we could develop a real sense of what this movie is going to be like. So at least as much as I liked seeing it, it was not a huge surprise, because I've witnessed every single shot in this movie.
What's it like being married to Jodie Foster?
Well, for my character, it was a living hell.
Yes.
As is exemplified by the end of the story. Yeah, they need some therapy, I think. They've been sweeping a lot under the rug. I think come 4:45 every day, that scotch comes out and things get a little fuzzy every day for old Michael. But Jodie's like a consummate professional. I mean, she's like one of these people that's been doing it from a super young age and having an enormous amount of responsibility from a very young age. She's tough as nails. You know, she knows how to get her job done, and she takes it very seriously in a very practical way. And not to say that she's not really fun to be around. She's incredibly intelligent and engaging and very warm, and yeah. So that's my little picture of Jodie. Kate, I was just in awe of the whole time. It's like, look at her jaw, like, you know. It's a weird thing, even though I've worked with a lot of famous people and stuff. It's still a weird thing on that first day when you're like, there's Kate Winslet. I'm 4 feet from her. You know, it's like, it's still a trippy thing.
Kate said to me on the second day of rehearsal, they don't really have any sex, you know. But no.
I believe that.
Well, we do, but we have the lights off, so it's sort of like anonymous and scotch-fueled. Sorry. I thought you were
Oh,
gonna
no,
go
I was
for a
just going to
question.
say, I love hearing that you can still get kind of starstruck at this stage in your career. Is there anyone that you guys haven't worked with you'd like to work with?
With Kate, it's not just starstruck.
Oh, she lays that to rest. I mean, she's so like, right?
Yes.
She doesn't suffer any of that bullshit. You know, as soon as you go down there, oh, come on. We used to call her our head girl because she was like the morale.
She told me all my continuities. You know, she said, take the scarf off, put the napkin on. No, take it in the left hand.
That's true. And if anyone went up on a line, be like, Kate, what is that? Is that? Okay, thanks. Like, super technically proficient, like all those damn English.
Is there anyone you guys haven't worked with yet that you're really dying to work with?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I think John wants to work with Stan Laurel, and I want to work with Oliver Hardy.
You said it, brother.
I have a casting idea. Were you there to help Americanize the script?
Yeah, Jodie and I kind of threw in that way because we were the resident Americans. But, you know, it was just more of like word choices, you know, just small word choices. Little, when you say this, do you mean this? Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, if that's what you mean, then you have to invert these two words. We wouldn't, you know, it's not, you know, we just kind of, we would give opinions, and then Roman would decide whether, you know, he wanted to do it or not. It's like, you can argue with Roman, but you're going to be wrong. So, because he's right. I mean, guy's been making movies for 60 years. I think he has the right to do what he wants at this point.
I want to ask because, like I said, there's a lot of actors here, and it is a difficult but rewarding profession. Was there ever a time that you thought of doing something else, or you just got frustrated with the business of it? And what got you through that time?
Well, you told me you were ready to hang it up. And so, well,
It's easy for me to answer. What got me through that time was the fact that I had to support a family, which I was able to, so that's a privilege already. And I was ready to hang it up, and then again, for kind of obvious reasons, I didn't.
I was, after my first couple movies, I remember, I mean, I've been doing plays since I was a little kid, but somehow the pressure of a movie and the visibility of that, like, it was such a roller coaster emotionally, and then suddenly, boom, I was unemployed again, you know? And I remember I was walking with my dad, and I said to him, and my dad was very kind of patriarchal, rarely make eye contact kind of guy, and very powerful presence. And I said, Dad, I don't know about this this movie thing. It's so unpredictable, and it's really, I don't know if I can take the pressure of it. Like, I'm thinking about doing something steady again, like maybe, like, you know, going back to carpentry or whatever. And he stopped walking, and he turned to me and looked at me in the eyes and said, "We have enough carpenters in the family. Stick with what you're doing." And I was like, "Yes, sir." You know, like, but you get used to it. I mean, it just becomes familiar. I don't know if I get used to it. I still feel nervous about not working all the time, you know? Especially as you get older, you think, like, you know.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, exactly. You're not getting any younger, whoever that was. You know, start to feel like Burgess Meredith in that Twilight Zone. I'm a librarian. I'm not obsolete. I've got something to say.
And the lesson is always listen to your father.
Yeah.
Again, I want to thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. A beautiful movie, a fun movie. And thank you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.